All right, welcome back to the channel. So, according to rumor, Errol Spence Jr. is pushing hard to get the fight with Yordenis Ugas instead of Yordenis Ugas having a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. But unfortunately, his injury looks like it's going to take a while to heal. So, let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Before I get into the subject matter of the video, though, make sure if you're not already subscribed that you subscribe to the channel, that you like the video, that you share the video. In this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr. You know that Errol Spence Jr. was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao, and honestly, I think it was a terrible shame that he wasn't able to fight Manny Pacquiao, because he would have looked like absolutely spectacular. I think the proverbial, what do you call it? The torch would have been passed to Errol Spence Jr. He would have absolutely dominated Manny Pacquiao, because you could see how in the fight that with Yordenis Ugas that Manny Pacquiao really isn't the fighter that he used to be. But the rumors that I have heard is that Errol Spence Jr. is who has just recently spoke about what his progress is as far as his eye injury and getting back, is really anxious to continue on with strap season and get the fight against Yordenis Ugas, and which would be where he would hold 3 of the major championship belts. But unfortunately, if you listen to what he said as far as what the timing is for his injury and all that, it really doesn't seem that that is that is likely for 2 reasons. Number one is the amount of time that Errol Spence Jr. will take to get back. I think he said it's going to be like another month before he's actually able to even jog, and several months after that before he would be able to spar. So you know that Errol Spence Jr., when you're not jogging and you're not exercising, there's a chance that your weight can balloon, and that had been a problem for him in the past. So I'm thinking that he might take an extra long amount of time to come back from this particular injury. So with Manny Pacquiao saying that he more than likely, Manny Pacquiao hasn't said it, but from the way that he's talking, it seems like there's going to be a rematch between him and Yordenis Ugas. I think more than likely that the Yordenis Ugas Manny Pacquiao fight is going to take place before the Errol Spence Jr. Ugas fight. And if that's the case, and that's the case, and if it doesn't do anything else, it will at least put to rest the question about whether Manny Pacquiao is a legitimate top, welterweight anymore, or if he's the type of fighter that should be fighting anymore. Because personally, after seeing that, I don't think that he should be. But he's been, I wouldn't want to say classless, but because he's never been a classless person. But the way that he's been disrespectful of Yordenis Ugas in the lead, after this fight has taken place, by calling him his easiest opponent that he's had, and saying that he wants a rematch because, there must have just been something wrong with him and nothing, that Yordenis Ugas brought to the table. It seems to me that would just do the most justice to the situation, to go on ahead and have Manny Pacquiao fight Yordenis Ugas for a rematch, and then that more than likely would cement Yordenis Ugas as a star in the division, and as somebody that is a dominant fighter, which we all know, if you pay close attention to the sport, that Yordenis Ugas has been for some time. And I'm still flabbergasted that there are so many fans of Manny Pacquiao that had no idea that Yordenis Ugas was as good a fighter as he has. And I'm still flabbergasted that there's this many people that were actually surprised when Yordenis Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao. It was almost like looking back on it, and what I said on the lead into it was that it was almost like Manny Pacquiao was a situation that was tailor-made for Yordenis Ugas in several respects. In one respect, Manny Pacquiao was kind of disrespectful for Yordenis Ugas because Manny Pacquiao had been stripped of his WBA title. Yordenis Ugas got the WBA title, but many people didn't consider Yordenis Ugas to be the champion because of the way that he got it. Even though, you know, there's been a bunch of champions that have been stripped of belts, and there's situations where people have been considered champions even though they haven't actually fought for a major championship belt. And I say that about Manny Pacquiao a lot, often. You know, that Manny Pacquiao is somebody that they say has has championships in 8 divisions, but when you actually look and you count and see, okay, how many divisions does he actually have them in, you find out the answer is either 7 or 6, depending on how you count, because there's 4 major championship belts: the IBF, the WBC, the WBO, and the WBA. I think I said that right. The WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBO. And Manny Pacquiao beat Ricky Hatton for the IBO at 140, and he also fought for a belt, 154 belt at a catch weight of 152. So to me, that just seems like, you know, you're giving him credit for having won titles that really weren't titles, but you can't give Yordenis Ugas the respect that he deserves to really be that WBA champion. So to have Yordenis Ugas beat him once was really good for Yordenis Ugas, but to have him beat him twice could actually be even better I think, for the welterweight division. Because that would really, for the last time, let people know that the best fighters are the guys with the titles, and it's not the people who necessarily have all the fanfare and still have, you know, the memories of everybody that really, you know, wants to see him fight. And we can finally, you know, put to rest the Floyd Mayweather Jr. era and the Manny Pacquiao era, which was a great era in boxing. But, you know, come on, man, it's like at least 7 years past that point in time when they were dominant fighters, and there's a lot of really good welterweights, and as a result of Yordenis Ugas pretty much getting rid of Manny Pacquiao in the rematch, then we can focus on what the big story is, which is that there's a welterweight division where there's a lot of really, really great fighters and a lot of really great stuff going on, man. And there has been for several years. But people, because it's under the radar type of stuff, you know, people, I don't think, really have gotten to appreciate the number of really good fights that have taken place between the welterweight kingpins. And so with Manny Pacquiao gone, that leaves basically would be 3 people left. It would give Errol Spence Jr. enough time to make sure for certain that he heals, because with an injury like that, even though I'm confident that he can come back, you definitely want to have him come back, you know, with enough time, the maximum amount of time possible for that eye to heal, you know, without, you know, compromising his ability to fight at the weight classes, which I was getting to before. But so, you know, even though Errol Spence Jr. is pushing to get back to get the fight with Yordenis Ugas, or at least that's what the rumor is, I think that it's probably smarter that he doesn't, and that we just let the rematch, if the rematch is going to happen with Yordenis Ugas and Manny Pacquiao, let that happen, let that whole thing get finished, because Manny Pacquiao is going to lose to Yordenis Ugas again, and then we'll get to see Errol Spence, Yordenis Ugas for all 3 belts. So anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section, and with that, I'm out. Peace.